CS predictions. And in case you missed it, all the zaniness from the weekend. CI Live starts right now.
Wide open, touchdown, got it! Touchdown, SC! Touchdown, Georgia!
USC's top receiver and reigning Biletnikoff Award winner Marquise Lee is listed as day-to-day after suffering a reported bone bruise on his shoulder last Friday. It was unclear whether the injury was suffered when he hit the ground or when a teammate landed on top of him after making a catch in practice. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Ray Crawford here with Pete Futek, our USC insider's John Jackson. He joins us now from L.A. John, give us the very latest on Marquise's injury and a possible return date for him.
Well, the good news is they're listing this as a bone bruise, so that's not serious. It's not any ligament damage or any structural damage. So that's the good news, for USC fans. I think that Marquise Lee is going to be out definitely a couple days. They want to have him back, but they do not want to rush him back. So I anticipate that you'll see him towards the end of the week. The big question is, will he be in the scrimmage that they have on Friday? That's still up in the air.
John, does Marquise have one eye on the NFL already? Is he 100% in, or is he looking ahead to the next level at all?
A lot of people would sort of, look that way because he's had such a great year a year ago, of course, with the Biletnikoff, et cetera, and all the media things that he's been involved with throughout the year. But I've had a chance to talk to him, one-on-one, and that's not the case. I mean, he's always been a humble guy. And what people need to remember is Marquise Lee's never been in this situation of being that superstar. Even when he was in high school, he was sort of overshadowed by some of the great receivers, George Farmer and Robert Woods, who also went to Sarah High School. So he's very humble in this situation. And to be honest with you, I'm very pleased with the way he's taken on the leadership role so far.
John, Max Brown is out in the starting quarterback battle, now down to Max Wittek and Cody Kessler. Who do you think has the edge here, and when can we expect Lane Kiffin to name his starter?
It's funny, Max Wittek sort of falls right in the mold of Matt Barkley, so a lot of people would tend to think it's going that way. But Cody Kessler has been outstanding so far. He's been, very efficient. He's had, big days throwing the ball. He's thrown for 193 yards, 12 for 19 or something like that the last scrimmage for 193 yards. So he's put up some pretty good numbers as well as a high percentage. The one thing he gives you is that mobile dimension. And so right now, if I had to guess, I think that Cody Kessler has the inside track on Max Wittek.
All right, John Jackson, our USC insider, thanks very much for the time. Well, who do you think should be the starting quarterback at USC? We want to hear from you on Twitter. And also, remember to keep a tab open on campusinsiders.com and download our free mobile app for your smartphone or tablet. Coming up later on in the program, the best and the worst from the weekend, including Russell Westbrook, who did wear this in public. Oh, my goodness. Time now for Fact Is. Few Fact Is. That is a fashion don't in my book.
Works for me. Hey, if you're Russell Westbrook and you play like that, I'm cool with it.
Wear whatever you want, right?
We do.
Associate editor Rich Sermonello is here to play along in this segment. And Few, we're going to let you kick things off. Fact is about the Aggies today.
The fact is Texas A&M is going to lose at least 4 games with or without Johnny's signature. You have to remember, A&M last year, that was an aberration. The last time before 2012 that they lost fewer than 4 games, 1998, when they had that miracle Big 12 championship win over Kansas State. Before that, you have to go all the way back to 1994, when the last time they lost 2 games or fewer. This team was great last year, but now they got a target on their back. I think they're going to have a problem with Alabama in that opener, the SEC opener. They got to go to LSU. They got to deal with Ole Miss. They got to deal with Arkansas and Missouri all on the road. And remember, last year was a perfect storm of big things happening. Arkansas was awful. You had problems at Auburn. This year, those 2 programs are going to be better. Ole Miss is better. Mississippi State's better. Vanderbilt's on the schedule. They're dangerous. There's just enough there where they can go from 2 losses to 4 losses. It's not that big a jump considering all the drama, especially around Mr. Manziel.
Few, I tend to agree with you in the fact that I think it would be tough anyway with Johnny Manziel. You've got a second opportunity here for defensive coordinators to scheme against Johnny football. Rich, what say you?
Well, I think you have to look at the other side of this. First of all, I think 4 losses, to be quite frank, is ridiculous. Has someone not told me that John L. Smith is coaching Texas A&M this year? I think that's the only way they go down the road of Arkansas 2012. I think this team might actually be better, guys, because let's not forget last year was first year of Johnny Manziel and first year of Kevin Sumlin and first year of that system. I think it's conceivable that they'll actually be better. I love the backfield talent. I think there'll be a little more diversity and pop from running back now that they have Brandon Williams from Oklahoma, Trey Carson from Oregon. Trey Williams is a year older. Obviously, Ben Molina will be the feature back, but I actually go the opposite way. I think this team might be more dangerous in 2013.
And this has nothing really to do with talent. Even without Manziel, even if Manziel can't play or doesn't play, they're still going to be fantastic. This is the SEC West, though. If it's the Big Ten or any other conference in the country, yeah, maybe we're talking about 2 losses. But again, 2 losses to 4 losses, it's not that big a jump, considering, again, all these programs in the SEC West are better. Where's the true weak link in the chain? Is it Ole Miss? Is it Auburn? Is it Arkansas? Yeah, Texas A&M is better than those teams, but they still got to play LSU, still got to play Alabama. I think they lose at Missouri. I think they have problems at Ole Miss. Again, 4 losses, it's not that big a jump in the SEC West.
And teams will be ready for them to come back around again.
They saw that fastball the first time around the rotation. Let's see.
All right, guys, thanks very much. Well, do you agree with Fuse Fact or do you agree with Rich?
Of course you do.
We want to hear what you have to say on Twitter. As always, hit us up at Campus Insiders. Time now for Campus Confidential.
Play action, Geno Smith, good protection. Wants the deep ball. Up top, touchdown.
Well, last season, 6 losses were the most by the Mountaineers since they went 3-8 in 2001. Jeff Coyle is our West Virginia insider, and Jeff, Geno Smith and Tavon Austin accounted for 77% of the team's total offense last season. How in the world did they replace that production?
Well, replacing the production is one thing. You don't replace those players. There won't be another Tavon Austin that comes through WVU's program or maybe any program in quite some time. But at the quarterback position, it's a 3-horse race right now. And I think the inside track is Clint Trickett, came to WVU from Florida State, a guy who backed up E.J. Manuel and had starting experience in the ACC. I think the only reason he's in Morgantown is because he thinks he's going to get this starting job. At wide receiver, it's wide open right now, and nobody's really taken the reins and said, this is my position. But one guy to keep an eye on, Kevin White, probably the biggest receiver in terms of size that I've seen at West Virginia in the 8 years that I've been around this program. I think that he's the guy to look at right now. They say he's his own worst enemy. What he does, there's nobody else who's going to stop him aside from himself. And in talking to him, he's got the character. I think that's the individual who will not be able to stop himself. Jeff, as you know, Andrew Bowie is the top returning running back, but Houston transfer Charles Sims was voted preseason Big 12 Newcomer of the Year. How's he looked in camp so far? Everything you hear from him is that he's perhaps the best player on the team on either side of the ball. He's the fastest player on the team. He's got size that nobody else at running back position for WVU has. And I hear that the players are calling him one cut. He gets that one cut and he goes. And from what I hear about his speed, don't think you're going to catch him if he gets out in the open field. He's the kind of guy who he makes that one cut, he hits the hole, and he's absolutely gone. And there's a lot of depth at the running back position for WVU, maybe seeing a different type of offense from them this year. But Charles Sims right now seems like that starter. It's his job to lose. And Jeff, as you know, like Trickett, Sims can play right away because they both already earned their degrees at their previous schools. But let's now talk about the defense. And it was bad last year, 108th in the nation. Is there any hope it'll be better this year? I think the hope that it'll be better is that it can't really get any worse than what you saw last year. And a lot of the players who were in the mix last year, true freshmen who really had no reason to be out there other than the fact that nobody ahead of them was playing better. Those guys have experience now. I think there's a real question at cornerback, but at that same time, there's a lot of experience and depth at defensive line and at linebacker. And hey, if they can get some pressure on the quarterback, kind of disguise some of their coverages, I think that those defensive backs and everybody in the secondary will have less time that they need to stay in coverage, and that should bode well for the defense. I think it all starts with that front seven. And right now, the new defensive coordinator, Keith Patterson, is really doing a good job. I think people are buying in a way that they didn't last year. Well, we'll be watching things closely there in Morgantown. Jeff Coyle, thanks very much. Thank you. Still ahead, our Man Crush Monday selections, and a few just might have one for this guy, Mac Brown. He sure likes the Longhorns this season. And Rich offers his BCS projections as well. That and more when we return.
Alabama wins! Alabama wins! And it is a Crimson Tide that has rolled on to South Beach, washing up with it. National Championship number 15.
Alabama got it done again in the title game, winning their third in 4 years with a 42-14 win over Notre Dame. Few and Rich are back with us now as we're going to look ahead with some BCS Bowl projections. And Few, we'll start with you.
No need to play the season. Here's what's going to happen. I'll tell you here right now. We're going to start off with the Rose Bowl. You're going to have a repeat of 2 years ago when Oregon and Wisconsin played that classic game. I see Wisconsin as being a little Buffalo Bills, losing 4 straight Super Bowls. Here comes the 4th straight Rose Bowl loss for Wisconsin. Look at their schedule. They probably lose to Ohio State, but I think they roll through everything else in the Big Ten. Moving on to the Orange Bowl, kind of the dumping ground of BCS games. Clemson's going to win the ACC title. I believe they're going to just barely get by Florida State. And then Rutgers, I think they're going to emerge from the pack. They're going to beat Louisville, get by Cincinnati. Pretty solid game, Clemson versus Rutgers. Going to the Sugar Bowl. Now, the loser of the SEC championship game, Alabama versus Georgia, is going to be here. I think this is where Alabama steps in. They're going to play Ohio State, who's just going to miss out. They're going to lose to Michigan to end the season, not play in the Big Ten championship game. They're going to get there. Fiesta Bowl. Notre Dame, Fresno State. I think Notre Dame gets to 10-2, enough to get them into the Fiesta Bowl. Fresno State or any of the Mountain West champion teams, I think are going to end up here. I think that Fresno State's going to be that team this season. And for the BCS championship, Georgia versus Texas. Don't forget, last time Texas, Pasadena. 2 times before that, Texas, Pasadena with Vince Young. This time, national championship, Pasadena. Texas has the talent to be among the best teams in the country. The schedule is there. Everything is in place. I think Georgia gets by Alabama. I think someone breaks the Georgia versus Texas national championship.
And that's it. And you believe it's the Longhorns. There are some question marks, though.
All I can do is tell you what's going to happen. I can't make something
But a new offensive coordinator this year. They struggled on the ground defensively, gave up nearly 200 yards per game. You're still confident, though, that they do the most in the country.
Weaker Big 12, and I think that this is going to be their year. Mac Brown rises up again, and they're going to face Georgia.
All right, Rich, your thoughts on Few's choices, and then give us your BCS Bowl projections.
Yeah, the one that jumps out at me, I mean, I understand the desire to jump on Texas at this point, but Few mentions, Texas has the talent to play for a national championship. When does Texas not have the talent to play for a national championship? I mean, it's Texas, for heaven's sake. They always have talent. But Mac Brown has had this nagging ability to do less with more than just about any major coach in the country. So I still am a non-believer when it comes to the Longhorns. I respect all of that returning talent, but I don't see it happening. Let me run it from the top in terms of my picks, guys. Rose Bowl, I like the Pac-12 runner-up, in this case, Oregon. Against Ohio State, the best of the Big Ten. Orange Bowl, I don't see it so much as a dumping ground. I think this could be a marquee matchup of January, a preview of games in the future, because it'll be Clemson out of the ACC versus Louisville out of the American, but will be a part of the ACC in 2014. So that matchup between Taj Boyd and Teddy Bridgewater would be extremely exciting. In terms of Sugar Bowl, I have, like Pete, I have SEC runner-up, in this case, Georgia, loser of the SEC title game, against Notre Dame, a team that I think really could surprise this year. I have a tremendous amount of faith in Bob Diaco in that defense. That D could be as good as any in the country this season. So I think Notre Dame, again, right around that 10-win total, could be playing in a BCS Bowl game again this year. Fiesta Bowl, I like Oklahoma State. I mean, I think Mike Gundy makes it 2 in the past 3 years, even if he uses 2 quarterbacks in J.W. Walsh and Clint Shelf. A lot of firepower offensively, better defensively. And I'm going to agree with Few in this case. I like Fresno State a lot, not just Derek Carr and all of those offensive weapons, but if you look at that schedule, every big game that they have, the few that they have, are going to take place in the Valley. And finally, BCS National Championship game, I'm going to be predictable and say Alabama. You've got the best talent, the best staff. These guys know what it takes to play for a national championship versus kind of a poor man's Alabama in Stanford. Similar type of a makeup, very physical, good offensive line, not very sexy, but I think it's going to be the winner of Oregon-Stanford in November. In this case, the Cardinal versus the Tide for a national championship.
And then there'll be a 73-3 Alabama win. That's the kind of. Yeah, the thing about Stanford is they control their own destiny. That's the big positive about this. Few teams in the top 25 can say, you know what, we're coming into this season with a shot to win the national championship. And you're right, Oregon and Stanford, it's right there for them. Ohio State's not going to go undefeated, and there's a chance that Alabama's not going to go undefeated. As long as Stanford or Oregon go unbeaten, they're probably going to play for the national championship.
All right, we will leave it at that. Good job, gentlemen. Pete Futack, Rich
All right
Sermonello,
here.
appreciate it.
It's
all
done.
in
The
black
season's
and white.
over. I can't make this happen.
All right, fellas. Okay, in other college football news, at South Carolina, Jadeveon Clowney sat out Saturday's scrimmage to rest a sore shoulder. At Ohio State, Najee Murray was suspended. Urban Meyer said it was a training camp issue and provided no timetable for his return. And one of the top offensive lineman recruits in the country flipped his commitment from Iowa to Alabama. Ross Pierce-Baker made his announcement on Sunday. Pierce-Baker is right there in Cedar Falls, so Kirk Ferentz lost one in his own backyard. Well, what do they say about all work and no play? It was fun day or media day at Florida State. It's hard to tell here, hard to tell watching redshirt freshman Jameis Winston, a little MC Hammer side shuffle. Please, Jameis, don't hurt him. So how did the Georgia Bulldogs celebrate the end of two-a-days? Hitting the pool, of course. Some guys did flips.
Whoa.
Some of the linemen did cannonballs from way up there.
That's
just
fantastic.
exploded from the high dive platform. Even Coach Mark Richt joined in on the fun as well. Look at that, no injuries. All right,
Ow.
keep it
Ow.
safe, guys. And I'm not sure if words can truly
fantastic.
describe this outfit from Russell Westbrook.
If you're Russell Westbrook, you can wear that. We can't. He can.
He's made some interesting fashion choices in the past. This was his choice for the Teen Choice Awards on Sunday. And yeah,
All
that
right,
happened.
okay.
All right. So the pursuit of a third NBA title starts in the offseason. Here's the proof. Part of LeBron James' offseason workout includes pulling a John Deere utility vehicle. And I don't know about you, my quads and lower back are hurting.
I
just
couldn't do
watching
that either. Forget running. That's the harder part to me at this point. Just really trying to do the tire drill.
Let's finish up here with a shot posted
have
by
to.
Catherine Webb. She signs a Bama hat for the young fan. I think the look on his face maybe says it all. Please sign this so you can stand here a little bit longer,
Mini Brett
perhaps.
Musburger there.
All right, okay, moving along. It is time now
No,
for...
you don't have to move along.
Go,
Man Crush Monday. We go
All
from
right.
Catherine Webb to Man Crush.
Few, you go first.
Jim Darnell, the lawyer in this whole Johnny Manziel case. The bigger issue I have is if you're Johnny Manziel and you're 100% innocent, why do you need a lawyer in the first place if there's no proof? But apparently they do. I love this man. He is the absolute epitome of what a Texas lawyer should be for football. Big hat, big talk, everything about him. This guy is what you want. He is a character in a situation full of characters. He is going to be a superstar over the next few weeks as this thing keeps playing out.
The Cowboy taking down the NCAA,
I love
right?
this guy. He's going
All
to
right.
shoot him down.
My guy, got to be Michael Jordan. 50 years old, the man can still get off the deck and throw it down. Just take a look at this. Playing with some kids at a camp. We won't talk about it going around the kid. That's no big deal.
Cheeseburgers
Well,
too,
yeah, that's
few
the
years.
thing. So he's able to get the elevation still at
Yeah.
like 40, 50 pounds above his playing weight.
At least, yeah.
I still think he could average double figures in the NBA if he came out of retirement.
Yeah, if you shot 40 times a game. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that did not
He's
certainly
dunking
show
on a
his
kid.
quickness.
Big deal. He blew by like a 5-year-old kid.
All right, you were talking about Johnny Manziel's
Yep.
attorney, right? Well, last week, there's all uproar about the autograph thing, so we decided we'd go ahead and sign some rundowns here at Campus Insiders. A little bit of CI history, if you will. Now, I signed one. We had Doug Chapman sign one, and here you see the autograph auction unfortunately came to a close. No bids.
Oh,
We are
man,
sad to
Mom.
report that, but on Pageview, the all-important Pageview battle, it was Doug Chapman, the winner, with 65, and I had 62. Few, you had 10.
Woohoo.
That's okay. It's just going to increase, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, they offered
We'll
to
try it
bring. You
again.
guys offered to bring him the autograph to them for an extra $1. So that.
Well, it beats the delivery charge, that's for sure. All right, that's going to do it for us today. Pete Futack, Rich Sermonello joined us as well. Thank you for watching. I'm Ray Crawford. We'll see you back here for more CI Live tomorrow. Have a great one.